Welcome back to my channel, Sparkle and Glue. So glad you're here today. I thought we could make a Valentine's Day pop-up card. Now, you could do anything you want with this. We're just doing Valentine's Day because it's coming up, but I've made baby cards with this and other things, and it really comes out very cute. Anyway, so here is the cutting guide if you want to take a screenshot. I will keep it out while we're working, but this way, just in case you want to have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the base page, and we're going to cut. Let me bring the cutter. Okay. So our base page is 8.5 by 6. So the paper I'm using is already 8.5. So let's go ahead and just cut this by 6. And then you're going to score on the 8.5 side, and we're going to score at 4 and 4.5. So score at 4 and 4.5. And what you're doing is just making a little, I guess, booklet type of card, so it has room inside that we can, for the pop-up. So I'm just folding it on the score lines, and now we have our little card. The next part is the pop-up, which is 10.5 by 2.5. So let's see. This one, let's measure out 10.5. by 2.5. All right, and let's just put this to the side. Okay, and now we're going to score on the 10.5 side, and we're going to score at 1 3/4. You're going to score at 3.5. You're going to score at 5 1/4. You're going to score at 7. And you're going to score at 8 3/4. And what this is making is a little pop-up fold. And so what we're going to do is this is going to glue down to the card, and then this will sort of pop up in the middle like this. So you can just fold on your score lines. All right, and that's pretty much it for the scoring. And as far as cutting, I pre-cut a lot of it, so you didn't have to sit here and watch me do it. But anyway, so let's just start with doing our outside paper. And I double layered. You don't have to. So the way I'm doing it is 2 layers like this. So let me just grab my glue. So the first I'm putting down a silver sparkle layer, and I think in the baby card I even might have we layered more times. It might be easier if you open it up and then just center and push down, and then I'm going to go ahead and add and the paper's from Hobby Lobby. See that from the sticker. So, and then I'm just putting down, this is a metallic cardstock. They sell individual pieces. And go ahead and just try and get it centered. Well, it's a little off. You know, sometimes you just can't get them perfect. But I don't think it matters when at the end when everything's done. All right, I'm just pushing down so it adheres. And then I cut this out on my Cricut, and it just says it's love with a little flower. So let's go ahead and glue this down. Like I said, if you're not doing Valentine's Day, you could certainly put happy birthday here or anything that you want for the holidays. Or I think that's pretty good. And let's just hope for the best. Okay. And I'm just going to turn it over and push down. And if there's any glue that gets on the metallic cardstock, I try to wipe it later after it dries. And I just use a wipe, and it usually works pretty good. Okay, so there's the front of our card, which I think came out pretty. Okay, and now what we're going to do is the back. I'm doing the same thing. I'm layering again. And I do have the exact dimensions. So the first layer, which is our silver layer, is 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. And what I kind of do is just, it's like 1/4 of an inch smaller than each layer before. So this way it gives you just a little outline, not too much. You don't want to go on the score line because that's where you want it to bend. So you can. This glue I'm using, Art Glitter, is great. It does adhere pretty quickly, so you don't have a lot of time to move your paper around. So kind of where you put it is where it's going to be. Anyway, so I'm up in Mississippi, and we just had that crazy ice storm. I don't know if any of you guys got anything like this. I have never seen anything. The trees are just covered in ice and everywhere, right? The trees were breaking and cracking, and it's just, I do love the snow, maybe not the ice as much. Okay, I'm just pushing down. Okay, so that's the back of the card, and then what I did is I cut out a strip for our center. Excuse me. So for the center spine. And I do have that here too, outside spine, 5 3/4, and I did by 3/8, which means the spine is 1/2 inch. So I just figured going just a little smaller than the spine. And then we have a little book, which maybe I didn't get glue here. It's not sticking, so let's add a little. Okay. And after, if I remember, I have the baby card out. I can show that to you so you can see. All right, so now for the inside, I used some paper, and I downloaded this from Creative Fabrica. And that is going to be your inside paper, first layer. And I'm only doing one layer on the inside, and then we're going to do some corner pockets. But you certainly could do a second layer and then the corner pocket, or however. And sometimes I just change things up as I go while I'm working on it. See what feels right to you and what looks I think it's all about just having fun. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be exactly how I'm doing it or anyone else that's showing you. Ultimately, it's just what makes you happy. And in the end, there's no one that's comparing it to anything. So, and when you give it away, people are just, I don't think they're as picky as we are when we're looking at it or saying, oh, I can't believe I made that mistake. They don't even notice. Okay, so there's our inside. And then for the corner pockets, what I did is I cut them at 5 1/2 by 5 3/4, and I did them in red glitter. So to make the corner pockets, what you're going to do is you're going to turn them so both the side facing up is on the outside. And I guess it doesn't matter. It's just as long as they're opposite. And what I'm going to do, so I want my pocket, this side here, to be against the card. So let's line this up. And this part, it really is up to you how much of an angle you want on your pocket. So I'm just going to do it kind of like this. Let's see how it comes out. And this paper is a little thick. So, okay. So here's what we have. And then when you flip, you'll have your two corner pockets, and they're both exactly the same. So now, let's say you don't like maybe how sharp the point is up here. Cut it, but cut them together so it just stays the same on both sides. So what I'm going to do just for this pocket, I'm just going to put some glue on the bottom and the one side. And I'm leaving this open because then it's easier to get things in and out. And I'm just lining it up with my paper. And I used a little too much glue. So we'll go ahead and hopefully that'll dry clear. All right, and then just push down. So it adheres, and I'm going to do the same. So on the long side, I'm just putting some glue, and on the bottom. And then just line it up with your paper. And if you did another layer, maybe you'll make this pocket a little smaller. Certainly, however you feel like it looks the nicest. Okay, so now we have our corner pockets. So that's how our and then again, I'll clean up this up with a wipe after, and it usually does pretty good. Okay, so the next thing is, this is our pop-up mechanism, and what it's you're gonna glue here and here. So I also cut 6 squares, and I cut these at 1.5 by 2 1/4, and I'm going to place them on each one of these. Don't have to do this, and I'm not gonna put a lot of glue. This is, everything I'm using is pretty much 80-pound or 110-pound cardstock, both. This paper is just a piece of copy, well, it's not copy paper, it is, I think it's from Hobby Lobby, from a paper pack, but it's very thin, like paper that you would just print on. So, not using too much glue, and I'm going to go ahead and just line these up on our 6 rectangles. And like I said, I pre-cut these just so you didn't have to sit here and watch. I mean, sometimes I like watching and doing it together, but I just think it's a little nicer this way. You know, you guys can pause the video and cut whatever you want to do too and not miss anything. So, all right, we're getting there. And 2 more. And okay. And then I cut out love, the word love, on my Cricut in Design Space, and I did an offset on it in silver. I'll show it to you, and I'm going to glue that on here. And you can put little pictures, you could put sayings, but here's what I did. So we're going to do this. Love, and then I have 2 little hearts here to go on this. And so the silver is the offset, and what it is it's just making, you know, an outline a little bigger than the letter itself. And I already pre-glued my red metallic to the silver sparkle before the video started. And we're just going to glue these on. And this one might be a drop big. I think we're okay. I did try to measure, but maybe not so great. So here is our V and E. And I don't know if you can hear, my dog is scratching at the door. So in my office where I'm working on my craft room, I have two doors. And they both, she can get in either way, but she doesn't like it when the door's shut. So excuse me for 1 minute. I'm going to open the door for her. Come on, sweet girl. She just doesn't like any doors closed because she could miss something. So let me go ahead and put this on. Okay, and now what we're going to do is you're going to put glue right here. And you're just going to line it up with with where the corner pocket is. And you're just doing it on the end. Push down, and then we're going to do the same on this end. And we're just gluing the back ends. And go ahead and line it up with the corner pocket. Push down, and this just folds in, and that is a little card. And so part of mine is sticking out here, you can see, and it still works. I tried not to have that happen. Well, anyway, so, but it's still fine, so it's not a problem. And okay, let's see. So now we have a couple of areas that we can decorate or do whatever we want. Oh, you know what? I didn't glue this down, and I'm sorry about that. Let me go ahead and put it in. This is the middle spine for inside. You don't have to do one here. I did list it though, and I did cut it, and I cut it out of the same paper to line up. So what I did on this is I cut this, my right side first, then I cut the spine, and then I cut the left side, and this way it just kind of lines up as the picture. You don't have to do that. I just think if it works out with the paper I have, I like to try to do that. So what I thought is maybe we could add a couple of tags. So I just pre-cut these. They are 2.5 by 5. And this is on that same paper I used for the inside. And I have this little tag punch that I believe I got from Hobby Lobby. And it works with 3 sizes. It's 2.5, 1.5, and 1, I believe. So I'm doing the 2.5. You just slide it in and push down, and it makes a little tag, which is very cute. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same for this. And let's see, maybe just, I don't know, this is kind of cute on here maybe. Let's just glue it. So this was also cut from the Cricut, but you can use anything you want. Doesn't have to, or you don't even have to do any tags. You can do different things. I'm gonna just put it maybe sideways on here. Down. I think the tags might be pretty a little inked too, so maybe we'll do that. This one, this says I love you, also I cut from the Cricut. So let's, in Design Space, let's go ahead and just glue that down. I also was intending on doing a little tie in here, but I forgot to put it in. So what you want to do if you do this, I just tied a little bead to the bottom. I was going to glue this underneath so you wouldn't see it, and then you could have a little tie. And I'll show you from the other baby card I have that has the ribbon tied. Okay, and then I think these are just kind of cute. You can put these in here. And if you want to put ribbons on them. Also, maybe let's do a little, maybe a little envelope. So it's the same paper. I'm going to go ahead and cut this at 2 inches. Let me show you what I do. I guess we could do this side. So all you do for the envelope is fold in the top like this. This is going to end up folding over here, and you want to try to get it somewhat straight. And then the bottom is going to fold up. This is where you can decide how big you want it. So if I folded it like this, you see how big the envelope is. So that's a little big for me. But maybe here, something along the lines of, so what you do is then you're just going to cut this off here, open it back up. Okay, so you're going to glue your tabs down like that. And then now you have a couple options. You could glue the whole inside and then fold this over, or you could just glue it at the top and leave it where you can slide a little tiny tag in or something. And let me just grab, let me see, ink. So this is Tim Holtz Distress Oxide Gathered Twigs. And this part, I think, makes a big difference. So if you do just the, around the envelope, you can really see the top of the envelope. And then, like I said, you just decide what you want to do. So if I pre-make these envelopes, and what you might want to do is just leave them where the sides are open. So this way, depending on where you put them, you don't know which side you want to utilize. And then, but right now I'm just going to glue the whole thing. So you're going to glue the envelope down inside, and then you're going to glue the top. So this won't, I'm not going to be able to put anything in this. And then just think around a little bit, and you have a little envelope. And you can, depending on what you want, I cut this, I believe it was at 2. So if you want a smaller envelope like this one, I mean, let's try it and see what happens. So just fold down, and this one is probably just fine the size it is. And I'm going to put a little ink on the top here. And let's go ahead and, so you're going to glue your side, your, I guess the little corners down. Go ahead and glue your envelope down. And again, depending on what you want to do with it, if you want to leave it open or not. And then go ahead and glue your top flap. And there you go. You have a little envelope. And I have, yeah. So I have envelopes I've made from, so if I have little scraps left over of paper that I'm working on or doing things, and then I make little different things with them. And depending on how much paper is how you fold it. So this one is smaller. Here's a little tag. And then you can just utilize them as you need them or when you come up with a project that you're doing. But I'll just put these to the side for now. So they're pretty fun though. And they're easy to make. There's no measuring. And again, like I said, it's great because little tiny scraps you have left over, just go ahead and make things, make the little envelopes for them, and then just put them away for another time. But anyway, so then you can just put an envelope in here. You could glue them down, whatever you feel like. Sometimes I glue 2 envelopes to each other. I'm just gonna put it in. All right, but so here you go, finished, and pops up and says love. It doesn't have to say love. It can say whatever you want it to say. And then the back, I didn't really do anything on, but you could add a pocket, you could add envelopes, anything. So I hope you have a lot of fun with this. Let me show you the baby one that I did. Let's move this over here. So this was what I wanted to do with the ribbon. So you could tie it closed, and you see how it's layered twice on this one. And there, pops up and says baby. I made these also in Design Space. They're little, well, they're big. It's supposed to look like baby safety pins. And then I added flowers onto them, and I think they're kind of cute. And then some baby clothes. And I will put the link below to my Design Space for this project. This baby one is on Design Space, so if you want to make any of this stuff, it's already cut there for you. But anyway, I just thought this was kind of cute, and I thought maybe we could, like I said, do a Valentine's Day one. But you can see that you can really do anything with it, and look how different they come out, just depending on how you decorate. Anyway, thanks for stopping by my channel. I hope you enjoyed this. If you make any of these, please post some pictures. I'd love to see what you've done. And or if you have any questions, then just put it in the comments below. Anyway, thanks again, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Have a great one.